Welcome back to Power Tips. Today, we thought we would talk about some interesting finds in Release Wave 2. So, I'm going to start us off, and I bunched together a lot of different items in the Release Wave that I thought were very related. And that's around Dynamics 365, Outlook, and Teams, and how there's even more collaboration with all three of these together. So I have a couple bullet points here. We'll start with the Sales app. So neat things that I saw along the lines of collaboration within these three Microsoft 365 products are that you can track a linked Teams chat as an activity in the timeline. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you've been playing around with the preview feature like I have, it's fantastic that you have this great Teams chat and it saves when you launch Teams chat, but it doesn't go in the timeline. And how cool would that be if it keeps a transcript in the timeline? So that's coming, general availability in October. I'm super excited about this one. Also, you can collaborate securely on Dynamics 365 data in email and Teams chat. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. Sharing records in email. This is a pretty neat update that came out. And again, there'll be a screenshot on the next slide. And sharing collaboration space in Teams for Dynamics records. On the customer service app side, there is new customer support for swarming complex cases. Swarming looks pretty neat. I haven't played around too much with it, but I think it's pretty cool that you can launch a swarm within the app and work with other people in the organization to try to solve the case quickly. You can automatically summarize conversations in Teams-based collaboration. So instead of scrolling through a big long chat, you're going to get a little summary that's automatically generated, which is pretty neat. Contextual collaboration with Teams chat, and launching the Dynamics 365 for Teams or app for Teams or Outlook by just typing in the @ symbol and then Dynamics, which is pretty neat. So let's take a look at some of these things. These are some screenshots in some of those release note updates. Not everything has screenshots yet, but these are three that do. So on the left-hand side over here, oops, I clicked too quickly, is the Teams chat. So this is just @ mentioning anything, and it might be a little small, but you can kind of check out all of these cool things that pop up just by clicking the @ symbol, and then you can start to dive in and start to tag different records in Dynamics. And it's not just a link, it gives you a preview card, which is pretty cool. We've also got the collaboration space over here. That's a terrible circle. And then sharing the records in the Dynamics app for Outlook is down here. And again, that's giving you a nice card instead of just a link. So I thought that those were all really cool things coming in the Sales app. The last slide I have for us today is on customer service with the Outlook and the Teams function. So it's a screenshot of what the swarming looks like in the app and in Teams, and then the Teams chat in service. So again, that includes a couple things down here on the bottom. That is tracking on the timeline. You can implement custom rules to define suggested contacts when chats are linked, and @ mentioning. So all of those things I think are really cool. I'm excited for all of those. What do you think about the upcoming collaboration stuff, Kylie?
I think this is really cool. I haven't played too much with just now the Teams integration. I was just enabling it in a trial yesterday and hadn't even tested it out. But I think it's so cool, especially the one where it's going to automatically summarize your Teams chat. I'm so interested to see that. But also interested thinking about, here in DC, we have a lot of people in the community who are doing government work. So I'm curious if that's going to be available on government cloud or where that AI to figure out what that conversation is about, like where that's processing. Very
That's a
curious.
good question. And I bet you if we dove in deep enough in these release notes, we could find out if government's included. So we'll put all the links at the bottom of the video there so you can check them out. All right, Kylie, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so I had a few things. There were a few things that, we already talked about last week, the business rules with FX and the calculated fields or the formula fields with Power FX. So obviously, we're interested and have a lot of questions about those. And one update we got from our comments is that you can access those formula fields in the preview maker portal. So it's make.preview.powerapps.com or something like that. So check that out. But another update from one of our previous videos is about the Modern Advanced Find. So if you remember from that video, we were talking about all the great features of this, but it's not quite as robust as the Advanced Find that us classic CRM people are used to. And we said, but don't worry, it's not turned on by default, and that will never happen. Just kidding, that was a lie. So in the next release video, or next release, then it will be turned on by default. So I'm not sure if that's only for new environments or it gets automatically turned on for all environments, but it's something for you to check out, and you can turn it on now. So that's part of your features. If you go into the Power Platform Admin Center and to your environment settings, and then this is in the features area, you can turn on Modern Advanced Find, and you can choose if users have the ability to show and hide the system views, or if it's just kind of the modern look and feel. And keep in mind, this will remove your classic Advanced Find button from that top header ribbon, right? So make sure you're checking that out and playing with it. And I think if you watch our earlier video, at first we were negative about it, but it actually has a lot of cool features and it's pretty cool. So it might be okay. Don't panic. And then I was also looking at some of these collaboration features. So similar to things that Heidi was showing, is there's the new or some new collaboration features with Teams that you can have co-presence and co-authoring, right? So you can see who else is working on things and see Teams presence within this, and also easier sharing of links. So for those of you who've been doing this for a long time, we used to have that copy a link button, and then that went away and we only had email a link, but copy a link is coming back. We are so excited about it. And you can turn that on now. Also in the Power Platform Admin Center, your environment settings and features, there's this collaboration area, and you can turn on those previews and see both of these features. So that's what stood out to me. Anything to add about those features, Heidi?
I just think it's really cool how Microsoft keeps blurring the line between their different apps. And they're not telling you where to go, right? You could do all of this stuff in Teams if that's where you like. You could do it all in Dynamics. I find it interesting there were so many updates where it's blurring the line with Outlook too. So I feel like that hasn't had a ton of changes, but it's pretty neat that they're really focused on the whole idea of collaboration and enhancing the user experience and giving you the information you need right at your fingertips without leaving from one app to another. So,
for sure.
Thumbs up for that change.
Yeah, and you even see that when you're reading the release notes. Like I think a lot of the updates you shared came from the Dynamics release notes, and the updates I shared came from the Power Platform release notes, but they can apply in both places, right? So it's kind of cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We hope that this was beneficial and that you have some thoughts on these features as well. So please, like, subscribe, put in the comments other features that you're interested in or features you'd like to hear us talk about. Thanks, everyone.